teacher, man, my high school director, man, and my theater director. Yeah, Miss Steinwise. Yeah, Sarah Steinwise, man. That's one of my angels in my life, and she took me under her wing, bro. She gave me a pamphlet to audition for this one school, and all these applications got withdrawn, and I was feeling all hopeless. She's like, "Yo, let's not give up just yet. I have an application. I want you to audition for this school called AMDA." I was like, "All right, cool. I don't know what that is, but sure." Go and
AMDA,
audition.
yeah.
Yep, the American Musical and Dramatic Academy.
Right.
I go and do the audition. And the school's up by Lincoln Center, and it was wild. Like I did the audition. I go I did a monologue from a play called King Lear by Shakespeare, and I did a song called "This Is the Moment" from a musical called Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
And she's like, because I had gotten into theater in my junior year. Just to kind of give a backstory on how I even got into it. Junior year, I auditioned for what I thought was a talent show, ended up not being a talent show, and it was a musical. I get a lead part in this musical. First, I didn't want to do it because I was like, yo, there's just too many lines. But then I was like, let me try it. Got on stage, and I loved it. And this teacher, she just took me under her wing. She paid for my college application for that school. She helped me with the audition. She helped me write the essays for the application. Like everything, bro. She helped me get a full scholarship to school. She gave my name to the Jerry Seinfeld Scholarship Foundation, and they had offered to meet with me, and she's like, yo, I got this kid. He's got a crazy story, and his grades ain't that good, but just meet him. And offer the strength of her word, because she had referred a student 5 years before me. She had referred a kid 5 years before me, and this girl got that scholarship. They were like, yo, we remember when you wrote a letter about her. I think her name was Anna. And we'll meet her. And the school was calling me for a loan. I couldn't afford it because I got into the school. And I was so hyped, but then they wanted me to take a loan for I think it was, if I could remember correctly, it was about a little over $16,000.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, where? $16,000 from where? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But she was like, yo, hold up. Let's not give up just yet. And she gave my name to them. And I met Kate Fenneman, who's now a friend of mine still. And and a few days later, they called me like, yo, we want to give you a full ride to whatever school you want to go to. So I went to AMDA for 2 years, and then I left AMDA after 2 years, completed the program. It wasn't a 4-year school, it was a 2-year school. I went to try to complete my degree online, but I didn't. So I kind of dropped out, and then I started working. I was working, then I didn't work for a while. I didn't work for months. I got dropped by my agent. I had an agent out of school, got dropped. So for 3 years, I was kind of hitting the pavement on my own, doing open auditions and shit.
And this is after AMDA.
After AMDA, yep. Yeah. So it's been a journey.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so interesting because there was so many hurdles, so many obstacles that were against you. You talk about high school, you talk about your grades, you talk about paying for your applications, all those different things, man. That
my pastor's in here too. Shout out to Pastor Josh. My pastor's in here.
Oh, nice. Pastor Josh is in here. Dope. I mean, I think it just speaks to your character, which is amazing. Only because, especially coming from where we come from, we got all these different obstacles, all these different things that are put in front of us that could sometimes we can believe it can hinder the work that we do. Whether we think oh, we got to get this project because I got to pay these bills, or I got to move my mom out of here, all these different things that come against us that some people don't even have to think about.
Yeah.
It's like it can make things a little harder. But just hearing your story, hearing what you're saying as far as from as a kid to then high school, and then after AMDA, you said 3 years just going around auditioning and doing different things?
Yeah, I mean, I got, 2 jobs. I remember my first job out of school was doing grease at Surflight Theater in Beach Haven, New Jersey for about $226 a week, I think it was.
$226.
Or something like that. That's less than unemployment.
Yeah.
But you got to get it.
Hey, you have to.
And then I did a show called Broadway's Rising Stars. and then that was, I didn't work for like mad long after that, you know. I didn't work for a while after that, and it was hard. I was mad discouraged. I was also like, you know, nobody was in a rush to write a lead role for barely 5'9", 155-pound wet Latino. Nobody was, you know, nobody was like, can't wait to write the next lead role for him. So it was, I didn't really know where I fit in. Musical theater started to feel further and further away from from my path, I guess, the path that I thought I was on. It just started to feel further removed from where I thought, you know, from where I was going or where I thought I was going. And then I finally got a national tour, man. You know, this non-union national tour. I was getting paid, nigga, $600 a week on the road
Which
doing Damn Yankees, the
Damn
musical.
Yankees.
Yep, in the ensemble. I was the
As a
only
Mets fan.
Hispanic in the cast.
So you were in a play called Damn Yankees as a Mets fan.
Yeah, I was in a play called Damn Damn Yankees
So
as a Mets
ironic.
fan.
But that was your first project that you toured in, that you toured in.
That was my first tour. Yeah, my first time. That was my first tour. Yeah, that was like
Okay.
that one job that felt like it was like after that things started to kind of um, feel like they were opening up. I came back home and I got my union, my equity card. I had done In the Heights at Pioneer Theater Company in Salt Lake City. That was my first time doing that show. But I even auditioned for that show. Um, I auditioned for that show. For anybody who doesn't know what In the Heights is, it's like a show by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who also wrote Hamilton, who is co-writing on The Little Mermaid, the movie, and now has a movie coming out, In the Heights, um, that he wrote. That's now the movie version, but and I was a part of the musical. I'm talking about the musical at
Right.
the time,
Right.
musical stage show first. But yeah, man, it was crazy. Like that show it was all Hispanic cast. I was like, wow, like dang, like, you know, and it was, you know, and it was about Washington Heights and about the body and about all these people up in this neighborhood, right? Yeah, you know, that's Lynn right there. Kind of. It was about just like all this neighborhood coming together, right, and all these people with big dreams and the daily like demands of life that come with living, right, living in Washington Heights specifically, but like how that parallels to so many neighborhoods in New York, like Bushwick and Spanish Harlem, and you know, there's so many other neighborhoods, right? Jackson Heights, like
How did you feel
predominantly.
connecting? How did you feel connecting to In the Heights and having that same kind of connection like you just mentioned, Bushwick? Was it easy for you to do that?
Um, I mean, I felt connected, you know, because the
Dope.
music felt like, you know, something that I was like, yo, I was like, I had never heard music like this in a musical. I was like, wow, these dudes are spitting, they rapping, like these motherfuckers, they on stage like spitting bars, and like this girl singing with runs that I sound like runs I heard one of my favorite singers sing on the radio. Like this sounds different. This don't sound like no, you know. I mean, and there's so many great writers in musical theater, right? And it's
Right.
nothing against them, but I didn't really, you know, I connected to musicals, right? But I didn't connect to it as much as I did to In the Heights, to that show. And I think it was the DNA of the show, right? All these, you know, Latinx people on stage singing and rapping and talking about chasing dreams and talking about, you know, what it's like to, you know, we got a piragua guy. If anybody doesn't know what piragua, right?
Oh
Shaved
man.
ice. It's always an old man who's sweating, skinny, got mad veins in his
With the
forearms,
towel over his
with the
shoulder.
crazy tan, with the towel over his
Over
shoulder,
his
and another
shoulder,
towel over the
scraping.
big block of ice, right? And he takes the towel off the ice and he scrapes the ice, puts it in the cup, and he's got different flavors of syrups that he'll
Yeah.
put into the ice to serve, right? And we would have that, and that's a piragua, and that's something
What
that
was your flavor?
crema. I like the
Crema, the
crema was
orange
my
one.
joint.
That orange
Yeah,
crema. Hell yeah.
tamarindo later on.
Love that shit.
But yeah, man, you know, it's right. So like, it was interesting. It was just wild to see all of these, you know, a dude who's running a bodega, right, like a corner store, like, you know, who's the main character of this musical, and you know, singing about a block that looked like my block.
Yeah.
You know, that the pulse of the music felt like the music I was hearing outside the windows of people on my block growing up. So when you listening to that, you're like, oh, this is, you know, when I explain to people what I felt when I saw that show, I say to them, it was, you know, I've seen shows and I'm like, oh, I can relate to these characters, right? Like, I find something I relate, I find something that I can relate to in one or more of these characters. But it wasn't that I only related to them, right? I knew them. I was like, oh, that bodega owner is Leo from the corner store, right? This dude
Right.
that used to always hook me and my mom and my sister, my brother up. He always throw us a layup, right? If we give us a little candy or whatever, he'd give us a little extra something with what we had. He always took us out. He's funny. He's always telling stories in Spanish. Like, he was always
The
like,
cat sleeping on the bread.
right? Like the cat sleep, cat sleeping somewhere,
Somewhere.
right? And you know, you walk in the store, the cat roll up on you, look at you real quick, make sure you good, and then keep it
Gives him
moving,
the
right?
nod, right? Yo, he's all right.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like, you know, to see a musical like that felt so close to home, and everyone was kind of speaking in my vernacular. I was like, oh, all right, bet we in the mix. Like, I was like, you know, maybe there's room for me somewhere. Maybe there's like, you know, maybe there's space for me, you know,
Right.
here.
Did that make it more comfortable for you? Was there ever a point where you felt like you needed to change, especially like in the theater? I mean, you know, in the theater world and film world, I believe there's a little difference, right? I think there's always pockets where you try to find yourself. You know, was there ever a point for you within whether it was film or theater where you felt like you needed to like change or you weren't sure about being accepted because of the vernacular and because of the background?
For sure, yeah. You know, I remember I've had, you know, teachers tell me, you know, grow your hair out because you could probably look a little more ethnically ambiguous and you could pass
Mm.
for more things. And, you know, I think that was just the nature. I don't think they meant that in any harmful way, but I think that was the nature, right? Like, you know, maybe if you speak a little more in American Standard, which was like in voice production and speech class and in college, that was like, you know, you learn to speak in American Standard, right? It's like it's what they call like the neutral dialect,
Mm.
and you know, and it was basically like, you know, pronouncing every word correctly, right? You know, and really like, you know, instead of saying where, it's where, right? Like, it's like, you know, you won't find it. It's not very common right now, especially like in culture, pop culture. It's kind of cool, especially now, to be a little hood and to be edgy and to speak in like a kind of more hood, edgy vernacular, right? But like the musical theater, it was very like, you know, and in I think in theater in general, right? There was this thing about, you know, let's you work your way out from, so you learn how to, you know, you learn to speak with American Standard, you learn to live right with this neutral dialect, and then we work our way out, right? And then maybe it'll help you with other accents, especially learning about phonetics. You learn about the shapes of vowels and words, and all of that was helpful, right? All of that shit was helpful. But I don't but I got so focused on that and so focused on how to look physically and how to look that I lost my sense of self.
Mm.
I didn't even know who I was as a performer anymore. I was like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? You know, like who am I? You know, excuse my language, my bad. But it's
Now,
like it was like, who am I as a individual? Like, I'm so busy trying to be this like perfect thing or robot or whatever. Like, I'm trying to transform into this kind of thing that fits the mold of what an actor should be. But I'm not even, which I think is taken away from the time that I could be spending and looking inward and figuring out who I am actually as a human being and as
mm.
an actor in my own way, right? And speaking the way I do. And like, yeah, if I have to do an accent for if I have to do an English accent for another movie, I can do that. I learned phonetics, I learned dialects, I learned accents, right? That's what we did in school. But I don't have to. Lynn says something amazing to me one time. I remember I cracked a joke. Lynn Manuel, he says, we were in rehearsal, and he goes, yo, I cracked a joke and I said something, and I think it was, you know, I may have said, I said, oh man, I was feeling a little insecure about the way I said it. I had a moment, right? Sometimes those little moments of insecurity come back. And I was like, oh, yo, like, I think I'll be talking too hood sometimes. I need to change the way I speak. And Lynn says to me, he said, you don't need to change the way you speak, Papa. You just need to make sure people understand you.
Mm.
And, yo, that changed the game for me. And I quote him to forever now. You don't need to change. You don't need to change the way you speak for nobody. You
Mm.
just need to make sure people understand you, and they will.
Absolutely.
You know. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I did. For there was a time in my life where yes, I was trying to mold myself into something that I thought was more conducive to you know, to the game, or what the perfect actor could be, or what the perfect, you know, thespian supposed to look like or sound like or whatever. Until I realized, like, the only thing that makes you fly is you.
Right.
So once
It's
you start
yourself.
to focus on embracing that, then you could really like tap into some shit, you know?
Right. Right. It's interesting because I hear that, and then I think of like your character in She's Gotta Have It as Mars,
Yeah.
and that just
Right.
goes like the language and the way you speak just goes into everything that you just mentioned as far as who you truly are.
Yeah, yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you
Well,
feel that
thanks.
that did you feel that that role came in like right on time for you?
100%. I remember Spike saw the show. He saw Hamilton. But yeah, man, Spike, that's like Unk right there. He saw the show. He saw Hamilton, and he was like, "Yo," um, he was like, he was in the second row, and he stood up, and he was clapping and pointing at the end of the show. I'll never forget it. We were off Broadway. We were still at the Public Theater, and Spike is clapping and pointing and clapping and pointing, and we bow once, and I'm like, "Yo, is Spike pointing at me?" I'm like thinking in my head, and then Chris Jackson, my boy Chris, he whispers over in the side of his mouth. He's like, "You ain't pointing at me," and then we bow again, and I was like, "Yo, I think Spike Lee's pointing at me." And after the show, like, he comes up, says, "What's up?" He's like, "Yo, let's, we take a picture, whatever. We talking, we chopping it up." And a few months later, I get a call from him, and I'll never forget the voicemail. It was like, "Anthony, it's Spike Lee, call me back." I mean, I thought the shit was a prank. I thought somebody called me on some, like, I was like, I had to listen to it like 2 or 3 more times to make sure. And then I call him back, and he's like, "Yo, I want you to meet me at my office, and let's have a meeting." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And then we met, and then he talked to me about Mars. And then like 8 months later, I finally, I'm coming to my run in Hamilton's coming to an end. No, not 8 months later. Sorry. We didn't have that meeting until like way later.
Okay.
When Hamilton was on Broadway already. Spike finally had called me and was like, "Yo, I want to have a meeting," because She's Gotta Have It was becoming more real. The TV series was becoming more real. He was casting it, and then he was like, "Yo, I got this role, Mars Blackman." And I'll never forget it. He gave me the DVD of She's Gotta Have It. He said, "You ever seen She's Gotta Have It?" I was like, "Nah." He goes in his like shelf or whatever, grabs a DVD, still in the plastic, and he puts it
Wow.
on the desk for me. He's like, "Yo,
Wow.
wow."
Wow.
But I didn't watch She's Gotta Have It until halfway into shooting the season, because I didn't want to like copy him or anything.
Got you.
But I was like, I'm gonna watch it anyway. But it was dope.
Got you. That you ran 2 seasons with She's Gotta Have It, correct? Is that right?
Two seasons we had. Yeah, yep. We had 2 seasons with She's Gotta Have It.
Dope. Dope. I mean, it's interesting because I know with one of the episodes you did work with in Puerto Rico with Spike, and I see the Puerto Rico shirts, and I know you rocked out with the Fem PR for a bit,
Yeah.
and how was that? How was that? And I know we're gonna be running with time, but I just wanted to like really understand that for me, just because that's always big when our people are like attach their work with also help and inspiring in different ways. And what was happening around Hurricane Maria and what was happening in Puerto Rico? How was that? How was that? How did you feel working in that whole setting? Like, did you feel like it was an obligation for you to go to Puerto Rico and really and talk about it? Did you feel like, you know what, this is something I just need to do because of the platform that I'm on? How was that working with the Fem PR and working with Spike and things that you guys did in PR?
I mean, it really happened. It really happened because the hurricane happened, and I started to hear about it. Obviously, my family's Puerto Rican, and I started to hear about it here. A bunch of us started to hear about it here, and we were like, "Yo, you know," and certain homies were going out there, and you know, one of my boys, Lemon Anderson, another fellow Boricua who
Shout
is an
out to
amazing
Lemon.
writer, poet. Um, he wrote, you know, for anyone who knows, she's gotta have it, you know, and who's watched it. We have that Puerto Rico episode you're talking about. Lemon wrote that episode,
Ah,
and
dope.
you know, Lemon went to PR. He's like, yo, hey, you got, yeah, look, Lemon's all in the black shirt. Rick Gonzalez in the middle, who's become now a homie, um,
Yeah.
who I've admired for years. You know, he was one of the first Boricua actors really doing it. You
Right.
know, I remember, you know, Rick was, you know, Rick was like, we were all looking
Paved
at
it.
him like,
He
you know, we
paved it.
trying to be like him in the movies, you know, and then on TV.
Coach Carter.
Coach Carter, you know, Rick's, you know, got mad movies on Illegal Tender, all these movies under his belt. And but like with PR, man, it was just a pure passion thing, man. I was like, yo, I just felt this tug on my heart, like, yo, I gotta go, I have to go, I have to see it for myself. I gotta do more than just give a donation to some organization or whatever. Like, you could do that, but I need to be there. I need to be with the people. I gotta feel, you know, I gotta see what's happening, and I want to be able to go back home and speak intelligently when I ask people to help and ask people to join the cause and contribute. And so I went and saw for myself with the Maria Fund, who's an amazing, you know, it's another amazing organization working with CPD, you know, the Center for Public Democracy. That their offices are in Bushwick. The Center for Public Democracy, they you know, for many people who maybe live in Bushwick or Brooklyn, in that area, you know, those are the people that are really fighting for your potholes to get fixed and for all the
Right.
things you don't think about, right? All the things we don't think about, but we complain about, like, why is that street light still broken? They the ones like, yo, we need to get that
Make it
fixed, 'cause
happen.
that's, you know, we got to watch the safety of these people. You know, you got to get that pothole. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they helped start the Maria Fund, and they were working out of PR Xiomara Caro, who is one of the heads of the fund out there, killing it. So fast forward, long story short, I go there. I was like, yo, blown away by what I seen, blown away by like the unity and how people were coming together, and how, like, I remember we went to this one, uh, like, you know, they had these like centers that they set up in the neighborhoods, right? And it was just like these community centers where people were just coming and gathering, and like, you know, there'd be like, you know, 3 or 4 doñas, or like, you know, dudes, you know, just feeding the community. Like, everybody would come trade food. They like bring rice and beans in exchange for a meal, or, you know, you got plátanos, they bring some plátanos, right? And like, they just feeding the community. And people would set up stations for people to have homework. People would donate money for people to, you know, set up set up stations for Wi-Fi, so people could be on their computers studying and continue their studies and all that. So basically, I went out there, and I remember this one woman. She, you know, we go to help. And I stayed with 3 strangers who are now really good friends of mine. You know, Jesus Gonzalez, my boy Eli, and
It's tough
Teresita.
TV. Yeah,
And
shout out to those folks, man. There's some good
yeah,
people.
we, you know, and from everywhere. You know, Jesus from Brooklyn, from Bushwick.
From
You
Bushwick.
know,
Jesus,
yeah,
absolutely.
Jesus Gonzalez. Anybody who, you know, he went to
That's
Bushwick
the
High
homie,
School.
man. That's fam.
Yeah, you know, Jesus put me on. You know, Jesus and you know, and Lemon put me on. You know, and I went out there, and there's Eli, who's from the Bay Area, lives in PR
Eli, his
now.
brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, Crystal
yep.
TV, absolutely.
The Faltusi brothers. They do
Yes, the
amazing
Fantusi.
films.
Amazing, amazing films and great, great content.
Right, right, and they base, you know, and Tere is incredible, from Chicago, and all these people part of the movement that was happening, that's still happening over there, right? And basically I came home, and I was just blown away by, you know, this woman. We go to this place, and we going to help her, and she's like, you know, tu quiere comer, like, what you want to eat, you know? I came here to help you, and you over here offering me a meal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's our
So
people, man.
it was like, I was just so moved, man, and I was like, yo, man, come on, man, I gotta go back. And, you know, people were just, you know, we cleaned out what used to be this guy's house, and you know, about almost a year ago, they rebuilt this dude's house that we had cleaned out.
Wow. Dope.
after the hurricane, and they built this beautiful home for him. They raised money and built a beautiful home for him. So they're doing amazing work over there. But I came back and I told Spike, I called Spike. I was like, yo, I have to tell you about what I saw. He was like, word, word, word. And he said, you know, Puerto Rico, I want to help. I want to help.
Mm.
So Lemon also put Spike on. Lemon had been talking to Spike for a minute already about PR. And then I came in and just kind of second what Lemon was saying. And next thing you know, Spike was like, yo, we're going to do a whole episode in Puerto Rico.
Amazing.
And he put
Amazing.
it in the second season, man. It was amazing, you know. And then Spike asked me to write a song for the episode before the Puerto Rico episode, and I gave him this song called "Cry Today, Smile Tomorrow." I gave him a few songs, but he picked this song called "Cry Today, Smile Tomorrow" that I sing in episode 6 at a benefit concert, raising money for hurricane relief and PR. And Mars decides to go back to PR and you know, reunite with his mother. Because there's some drama happening back home, but not
Right.
only does he want to reunited with his mom is the, you know, the primary reason for him going, but it's also to also give this money to the organizations out in PR, which were real organizations. If you watch the episode, every organization that the characters, Mars and Nola and Winnie Win, these characters that they give in Shemeka, right, played by China Lane. You know, they're giving this money out to all these organizations. These are real organizations. All these are real people who are actually doing real work on the front lines out there. So, long story short, bro, you know, I wrote that. You know, we had that song already, and he put it in the show. And a short, amazing story about that song. Even was, you know, it's amazing how art and activism come together. Um,
Yeah.
One of my closest friends and I wrote that song "Cry Today, Smile Tomorrow" with this amazing girl named Darielle Cadet who survived cancer, but she was in the middle of her battle. Um, in the midst of her battle, like when we wrote it, and we got connected with her through an organization called Katie's Art Project that bring artists and, you know, people with pretty serious illnesses
You
together
just
to
posted
create
on
some
that on
kind
your
of art.
page, yeah? Did you just post on
Yeah,
that?
I did.
Right,
I
that's one of your
did.
last
Yeah,
posts.
I did. Yeah, and the behind the scenes video is on YouTube. But basically, you know, we got connected with her, and we wrote this song about her life. She just told us her story. In 10 hours, we had a song. And
Hmm.
and that was the song Spike picked for the show. It was, I mean,
So dope.
months later, you know. So it's amazing how God does that and connects the dots like that.
That's amazing. I mean, it definitely, you can see all the dots connecting. All the dots connecting from A to Z to get to that point, man. It's pretty special, man. Especially when you're able to help, man. That's a dope thing. You know,
Yeah,
it's
little by little, man.
yeah, absolutely. You know what's dope? That monologue that you did about Puerto Rico about
Oh,
Christopher
Eli's in
Columbus.
here. Eli's in here, by the way.
Yeah,
Eli,
Eli's
Chris
here.
Stuff. He's
Krista,
here. We were just
yo,
talking about you, bro.
yeah, Eli's a
Crazy.
dope dude, man. I love those people. I love these folks,
He's
man.
amazing.
Fucking dope.
Defend Puerto Rico. If y'all don't
Yeah,
know, y'all gonna get
Mikey.
hit, man. Those guys are doing amazing things. And
Yeah, no,
Eli,
for
Eli,
sure.
Eli is an incredible filmmaker and amazing human.
For sure, man. I wanna pull up two more pictures, and then we could just I want you to talk about these people here. I know you just referenced to them, but your sister and your brother, right? How
Yeah, that's
how
my tribe.
instrumental have they been to your to who Anthony Ramos is?
I mean, they just, you know, they keep me grounded, man. To be honest, you know, it's a lot happening in my brain often, and a lot happening in my heart, and my soul, and spirit. And you know, when I talk to them or I look at them, you know, they really